Star Status Consultant and Management Company. I'm out here working with G Fresh and Monkey Boy Entertainment, and I'm here for anything that you want to know. Ask me all the questions.
My name is David Leonard, former Midwest Regional Promotion Director for Interscope Geffen Records. Currently, I'm field coordinator and production assistant on season 25, Oprah Behind the Scenes, which is a new documentary series on the OWN network. And I'm a man of a million side hustles.
Thank you guys for joining us today. First, we want to start off by talking about thinking global instead of just thinking locally in terms of your music. A lot of people start off by saying that, oh, my city doesn't support me, or they're not playing my song on the radio in my city. But sometimes you have to think about more than just your city when you're trying to build your brand. So, Brian, can you start off with that?
Okay. The slideshow ready? And this is something I've been tweeting to a couple of folks probably last week or two. In terms of trying to get yourself established, to start thinking beyond Indianapolis, because hopefully what you want to do is you want to be that act that is getting your record played 3,000 to 4,000 times a week across radio stations just here in the United States, not to mention radio stations, video channels across the world. The first thing I want to do is just to give you guys an idea as to a radio station's playlist, and that you'll see, as you can see by our playlist, the number of songs that these are the top 20 most fun songs on our radio station here in Indianapolis at Hot 96.3. I've got 4 other playlists that I'm going to show you, and you'll basically see that most urban radio stations' playlists, for the most part, look just about the same. This is our sister station, Hot 107.9 in Atlanta. And as you can see, most of the stuff that's being played by them that's the most fun is stuff that the major labels are working. It's actually highly tested music. Now, there's a couple of examples of local artists, like in this case, Travis Porter, who came out of Atlanta that got the initial spins on the station, and then initially got their deal with Jive Records. And this is my sister station in Detroit, Hot 102.7. And as you can see, it's roughly about the same thing. You going to say, where's that?
I was just saying thank you very much for your support.
Oh,
Travis Porter.
Hey,
Chris Brown.
Oh, thank you. This is our sister station, Z1079 in Cleveland, same situation. Coming up next, just to take it down south again, it'll be the playlist coming up with our sister station in Dallas, which is 97.9 The Beat. So as you can see, for the most part, most radio stations across the country are playing roughly about the same thing. There will be adjustments, or there will be variations from market to market. There are a couple of local records, well, they call them local records, but like the Keno Bangs is somebody that's in that area that just got their deal not too long ago with Warner Brothers. If we go to the next one. Okay, steps for presenting music. You want to create a press kit for yourself. That's really the way you should do it. That should include a CD with professionally done label. Matter of fact, if y'all can put a pause on it, I want to, if I get them back, I hope I do. If I don't, then Young Goldie will be thankful for you to at least get his music. I want y'all to see something that was professionally done. That was by Young Goldie. I want y'all to see this. This was done by my son, which I rejected. Why? Because he wrote on it on a black Sharpie. Remember, your CD is your resume. Can't say it any simpler than that. Your CD is your resume. You want to put a bio together for your group or you, press photos. If you want to submit to music for us, you can email it to naptownlocalmusic@gmail.com, or you can drop it off at the station. You can make a package attention to me, or make a package attention to DJ Rec 1. Allow us time for follow-up, particularly me. I'm juggling a lot of stuff. I'm in charge of 4 stations here and a station in Detroit. So that being said, if you bring it down on Monday, I'm probably not going to get back with you immediately on Monday or Tuesday. Maybe not even Friday. It could be at least a week for me, but that's the reason why in my position, you have a music director that takes care of things like that. I also put on here, don't get bent if we don't think your song is going to work for the radio station. Continue to submit, because hopefully you're making more than one song. Hopefully you're generating 3 to 5 songs a week. To me, making music is like bodybuilding. Bodybuilders don't get cock diesel overnight. They do it because they continue to lift. You got to continue to write, continue to produce, continue to be in that studio creating your beats. You're only going to get better. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is that you've got to hit the road and promote your music in these other markets. And I think a lot of the artists here are getting better at doing that, but you got to get out there and promote in the other markets. And that's not even going to always guarantee that you get airplay in other markets. Nappyville got played more than 2,000 times to Super Clean on our station and still couldn't get love in Chicago, still couldn't get love in Cincinnati, still couldn't get love in Louisville. What those reasons are, I don't know. Those are decisions made by those radio stations in those markets. Okay, next slide. I think regardless of the circumstances, it's very important that you build relationships in this industry. When in doing that, you got to network. Don't assume that you know it all. None of us know it all. Look, I don't know it all. I'm still really kind of getting my hands around the fact that, and I want to bring this up later, you got a lot of acts out here that are blowing up through the internet with no radio play. Absolutely no radio play. Build those relationships with the gatekeepers, the program directors, music directors, mix jobs, air talent. There's several ways to break a record. It's not just you getting played on the radio. It's already been proven, getting played on the radio don't get your record yet. The next thing, I think this is vitally important for this market. Do not badmouth other artists. Right now, it is not horrible, but this market has a very bad reputation in the music industry because there's been several, I don't think anybody in this room, but there have been several of your cohorts that have gone to labels cutting you guys down or cutting each other down. You don't want to do that. Because for one, that makes you look bad. Okay? Stretch outside of your boundaries sometimes. If your thing is what everybody calls backpack music, you might want to try doing some other type of music just to show your versatility. I put up here, make use of today's technology again. I'm not Mr. Know-It-All. I don't know. I'm still learning it. But somehow, you got, and I'm going to take, because I work in Detroit, I'm going to take someone like Big Sean, who is blowing up nationally. He gets a little bit of airplay there in Detroit at our hip-hop station, but basically this guy has blown up the way he's blown up just from the internet. Or he's blown up big enough that he's got to deal with Def Jam. Okay? What's the other?
Support other artists.
Well, there it is. You got to support other artists. We got a lot of venues around here. Like there are a lot of artists who have performed at a place like, has everybody hit the place called For Locals Only? Has anybody ever heard of it? Yeah. There's a lot of artists that do like, poetry, that backpack, hip hop, that kind of stuff. Go check some of that out too. Like I told them, don't be afraid to come out if a lot of guys are performing, whether it's trimmers or whatever. I think it just expands you. It expands your knowledge of music, and you never know what kind of collaborations may come about if the different genres of hip hop that we have in this market collab together. Next slide. As mentioned before, travel to other parts of the country and study what the music is. Like, for example, go to Houston, spend a week in Houston, see what they're into down in Houston. Hit the West Coast, see what kind of music is happening there. Because the cool thing to me about hip-hop is that it has gotten so segregational that you do have different forms in different parts of the country. This is going to be covered in a few minutes, but get your business side in order. Your legal stuff. Trezanay will probably talk about that a little bit. Your marketing stuff, etc. While you're getting yourself together, perfect your stage performance. Because the worst thing you can have happen is you got a hot single, but you suck on stage. Whoa, boy. Have that customer service mentality. A lot of times we may play a record, say for example on Hot 96.3, and it just doesn't kick in. And the first thing I'll hear is, well, the radio station didn't support me. Well, if the radio station didn't support you, we wouldn't have played the record. At some point in time, you got to figure that customer that spends their good disposable money, the listeners, that's who you got to impress. You ain't got to impress me. You got to get there, because ultimately, the name of this game is making money. And that's the reality of it all. Are you making music that people actually will spend their hard-earned dollars to buy? Pure and simple.
Any questions?
Okay. Trezanay, can you tell us a little bit about the business and legal aspect? When they're thinking globally instead of locally, they need to also remember to register their names, because there might be one big mic here and there's a big mic in every other city, right?
Right. You have to police yourself, let's say that. To think globally means to understand that it's not just you in your city and you're operating alone. There's stuff going on all the time, like Brian said, there's other markets going on. And you have to police your brand, police who you are, and that is registering your name with the trademark office. Because if you're putting out a product and your name can actually become a trademark on the service and product that you're putting out. And you can register that in your state. You can register that federally to protect yourself from other people using your name. For instance, for my own business name, I have it registered here in Indiana. It's very simple, like 10-minute applications, $10. And I have my federal application pending. It takes more time. It's about $300. But what it does, it gives you exclusive rights to use your name in the United States. And it doesn't allow anyone else to use it. But on the other hand, you have to take time to police what you have. So you can't just register your name or say, I have claims on this name, just leave it. You have to actively police it all the time. Google Alerts is probably the cheapest, most efficient way to police your brand or police your name or your product. You can just tell Google, hey, anytime this pops up on the internet, send me an email. And for example, I put my firm name, TMA Law, put it in Google Alerts, and I got an email one day that said there's some law school in DC that put up a blog, www.tma, it was on Blogger. It's like tmalawblog.com at Blogger or something. And I immediately sent them a letter, hey, I have exclusive rights over this name, I'm claiming this name, I got the name on Twitter, I got it on the internet, I have the domain name, I need you to release that name. And they sent me an email and said, hey, we don't want any trouble, we'll take it off. And now I'm in negotiations with Google to actually get the actual domain name off of Blogger and to give it to my possession. So those kind of things you have to keep in mind when you're an artist, protecting your name on that.
Now, Brian, we definitely appreciate the radio feedback. What about independent people that don't get on radio? Can you talk about that, Tracey? Like, you've had an artist that has been on radio, but they're making money every day and not even getting a chance to get spun on radio.
The main artist that I have is BG. Now, BG is like, he is legendary, heart of the streets, but you do not go on 106 and Park and see him, and he is not being played on the radio. We are blessed to work every weekend because we still know how to keep ourselves visual. We know how to keep ourselves out there. He know how to feed his core fan base. So what you have to do is find the fan base that you're after, because when you build true fans, you have them forever through your career. And by BG actually being able to grow up with his fans, that's why he can go to the show and rock. They'll know his show from the first song to the last song, from the very first CD to the last mixtape that we just dropped, because they are into the street movement. A lot of people say that his music is kind of played out because it's not really commercial. He talks about a lot of things that the radio doesn't want us to play. But I always give the example, like, it's a globe. And in the globe, you got cities, states, and continents, and there's a hood in every one. And BG, true to his legendary name, like, he gonna speak the streets. That's how come he still stay very connected to the streets. But stay true to your word. Don't go talking about somebody else's life. Because then that may come back around. But just keep it real and find your core fan base, the people that you really want to go after. That you want to really grow into your career with. I find that new artists, to me, it's just like you just got to keep that underground grass. I'm a grassroots girl. I came up from not just the internet, from straight up hand to hand. I'm in the product. I want to get the CD. I want to get the music, as well as I want to see it on the internet. You know, I like the whole complete package, because you just don't know, because that hood might not be on the internet, but that barbershop got somewhere where you can lay them CDs, and you're going to go get your hair cut. So you can't like leave one out and then try to take over. Just one, any little thing that you think, you do not think that somebody is going to be like, no, that's not going to work. It'll work. Just do it. Do all different type of marketing things to get out there. You know, I'm just coming into the city, and you know, I'm really enjoying working with the whole Monkey Boy project, because they definitely, you know, do the whole grassroots. You know, they make themselves visible. They stay out there. They build in with their city first, and then, you know, it's going to be time to now go international with it and take it bigger and get out there and just force the music. The music is good, you know, just get it out there and build relationships, like he was saying, you know, and get to know people, and people know faces and know names. You know, make it your business to get to know. Just don't run up on these DJs, oh, play my record, play my record. They really don't know you like that. And I respect the DJs. I'm a core DJ, been one since day one. I mean, at the end of the day, a DJ is in his set. He's not gonna stop to even get your music or play your music, because he's doing his set. You might make out better going to a strip club, because that's easier. You know, maybe a strip club DJ may slide in for you, but respect his set and respect what he's doing. Get with that DJ outside of his element of him doing, he's working. So he can't just break your record because he don't know what it sound like. He don't know what the mix like. He don't even know what the master like. Like, he don't know what you might bring his whole set down. So just take time to kind of get to know them, and DJs make themselves accessible for these artists to get to you, so that y'all can come together and, you know, try to build this relationship. And one more thing I want to say is that these artists need to come together and do collabs. If it's a crew here, and there's a crew here, and there's a crew here, a crew needs to do a CD. Because that's a whole lot of hands working. Instead of just every one person just trying to get out there and make it happen. Pop your city off. You know, do what you gotta do for your city. I'm waiting for some more heat to come out of Pittsburgh, because Black and Yellow then popped off, and now they're in the Super Bowl. So, you know, if I was from Pittsburgh, I'd be trying to find that dude. I hope his head right so he can put our people on, because he got opportunity for his city to blow. So, you know, just networking and making sure everybody knows the purpose for the reason.
By the way, panelists, you're welcome to the VIP energy drinks on the table. The next question.
Placement product.
We had Tracey talk a little bit about the independent scene and getting your marketing going and hand to hand and things like that. You work with major artists that are signed and played on the radio daily. Do you guys still do the grassroots type of things for your artists?
Not so much anymore, because labels, you know, if you guys pay attention to record sales, you know that it's declining every year. So there's not so much money to do grassroots like what we used to do, city, band, high schools, you know, colleges and stuff like that. We don't do that as much anymore. Pretty much, you have to build your own buzz. We have actually one group that was signed, Hostiles. They did their thing in Chicago. Actually, the label heard about them from Atlanta, not even from Chicago. And we have to work with them for a little while. But it's really, you know, it's really about you and your team. You know, what you guys do with your own. And even if you do get signed, you can't let up on what you're doing, because we're just in addition to what your team is doing. So yeah, you definitely have to make sure you have a strong team and do that strong grassroots internet. You know, don't worry about it. I would say concentrate on radio, because, you know, that's secondary. The streets come first. I wouldn't even say, you know, get with the radio DJs. I would say strip clubs, you know, the DJs that work 5-6 days a week in random clubs. You know, to start there.
I just want to piggyback on what Norjon was saying too. like as far as like the major record labels, like you said, like a lot of them are bleeding, and constantly every quarter they're having cutbacks. I mean, just last week, a bunch of my friends I used to work with at Interscope were let go. And it's because the labels are losing money, the record sales are down, and I'll just use them as an example. You notice that because they're not selling as much music, they're aligning a lot of their artists with different brands. You see Dr. Dre with the Beats by Dre, headphones. I think Mary J. Blige was doing the campaign with Mac back when I was still with the label. I mean, you see Ciroc, you know, first thing you think of is Diddy. So what I would say is to artists who are thinking about branding themselves as well, you got to think outside the box. Definitely you got to hit up your DJs, your clubs, radio, all of the above. But there are also other outlets out there. There are advertising companies who are always looking for music. There are, you know, television shows, you know, a lot of reality shows that are looking for music. You can go to websites like ulicense.com where they'll send you emails, hey, we're looking for this type of song for, you know, this type of jingle or whatever. I think that, you know, we have to think of ourselves, whether we're independent or not, as a major brand, and just think outside the box and look at, you know, new innovative ways to get our music out there, because it's all a part of the grand scheme of, you know, marketing. So those are just, you know, some other examples I wanted to bring up. Oh, well, yeah. For instance, I just did music supervision on a movie that's coming out on Image Entertainment called Speed Dating, starring Wesley Jonathan and Vanessa Simmons, which is released February 8th. You know, again, it's just another outlet where artists are able to, you know, get their music featured in a film, and, you know, somebody may see a film and say, yo, I heard this, you know, this record that was playing in the movie, you know, what's that? And, you know, you can create a buzz. By that, I actually had a lot of Chicago artists as well as a few Indianapolis artists, Nappyville, who are featured in the movie. So again, you know, it just goes back to what I was saying. You know, you have to think of new, innovative ways to, you know, really get your music out there.
I want to touch on something that he said real quick. You know, when you building your label and your team, like he was saying, even when you get your deal, how you can't let up off of what it is that you guys are doing, make sure that you put the right people around you when you get your label and your squad together, because sometimes you're going to find a lot of people want to get in the covering, or maybe they just like the look of it. You know, they think they're rolling with the people. Make sure you got workers, okay? Now, I'm an executive. I've been an exec. Okay, I worked at Def Jam as Catalog's executive assistant. But guess what? I hit calls on quicker than any of these dudes because I came from that. I hang up posters quicker than any of these guys I could pay because I came from that. Make sure that your squad know how to work just as hard as you, and everybody wants just the same thing that you want, because that will stagnate your whole process. Because by the time you get with that label, they just gonna give you the opportunity to do what it is you want to do. Because if that album don't sell or that hit song don't pop off, it's on to the next one. It's just that quick. The perfect example I was talking earlier is Duro. You know, he was blessed. He said, okay, Ice Cream Paint Job. He came out, he put that banging remix on it, but he came with another hit. And he came with another hit. Now, an example downside to that is Stinky Leg. Where they at? You know, #1 record with Party Like a Rock Star. Where they at? They couldn't even back these records up. That means they ran too fast. Like, know that you gotta be ready for this. Like, really, don't be consistent. Get that music, line that music up, and keep banging upside their head with it, because you only get one time to shine. And you go out there and you get your shine and you can't back it up, then sometimes you don't get that opportunity again.
I gotta say, touch on what Brian said before, you gotta keep mastering your craft. We actually had Trilogy signed with us, and they didn't actually get the single out like we were supposed to, but I still today get records. I just actually opened the email maybe 2 days ago with a record I thought was hot, just to let you know. But keep grinding and keep working at it. You know.
One thing about it too, when you out here marketing your product, Tracey said, make sure you keep the right people around you. I notice a lot of guys especially, they too cool for this. Or they think they already made it. It ain't no laid back in the music, because you laying across the bed, all this gonna pass you by. Main thing is that everybody in your crew need to be working. If you the CEO and you the head man and you paying all these bills, you paying for their hotel stay, you paying for their food, you paying for this and that. If your artist cannot work and support you and what you're doing, you don't need them around you. Because the main thing is, it's an artist next door. But it ain't a CEO with all the money next door. Okay? So you have to respect the grind. Respect that man with that money, and you guys get out here and work with him. Pass the flyers out. You ain't too cool for that shit.
That's what's up.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
And the main thing is that, why he gotta pay me? It's no sense in them paying me when you guys can do it. Support your home team. The reason the Cincinnati Bengals can't get nowhere is because Chad and T.O. trying to do all the work. It takes a team, okay? You cannot sit back and lay back like you already made it. Because believe me, Brian see you. And why he want to play your record when he already know you ain't going to do shit? You understand what I'm saying? Impression. Your impression is everything. When y'all come into a club, you guys, the artists, need to be out here introducing yourself, passing out the flyers, this and that. The CEO, the one gonna lay back and be cool, she don't work for his. Okay? I'm serious. It takes some respect. You gotta respect them pockets. I've done a lot of work in this business, helped bring a lot of people up out of the South, broke them in the Midwest, including Cash Money Records. I worked with Tracey on BG. This is our first time ever meeting. I didn't know who she was, but I'm Judy.
I know.
Okay, and Lucky. I mean, yeah. And we've been on her team. Hey, we do whatever she asks us to do. I'm 53 years old. I can always learn something from you young guys. But understand this, I can't learn shit from a solid rock. You got to get moving and let me see you doing something. And personally, I don't work with everybody. Because if you don't work, it ain't going to work. You got to work with me to help break you. Let me help you by you helping me.
To comment on that, you can't always think about what that person can bring to you, but more like what you can bring to them. Because that's why I've gotten to where I'm at now, is because I help everybody improve on what they're trying to do, and I work hard. Like, I never thought I'd be doing interviews. I'm interviewing Freeway. I never thought I'd be a DJ. I'm a coach-to-coach DJ, because I won't say no and I won't let a void stop me. You know, you got to really get out here and grind. Like, you got people coming from Cincinnati, you got people coming from Milwaukee, you don't have people from Indiana. Like, and you got to leave the city. Now, I've been able to be in Atlanta with BG because I was hooked up with the Hitman. There's a lot of different aspects out here that you can jump on board with that will make you better off in what you do. You just got to get up and do it.
Shouts out to St. Louis, Chicago, and everywhere. People come because they respect Ladina. I've watched Ladina grow in this business. When she first started, I didn't know how long that magazine was going to be around. But guess what? I said, Ladina, anything you want me to do, I'm here for you. And I've been here for her. I see Jesse James drove all the way from St. Louis. He ain't getting paid to drive here. It ain't always about the money. It's about networking. You know, Lucky got 24/7 magazine. He's here representing, you know, networking with Ladina. It's a team effort, you know. Indianapolis, I want to take my hat off to y'all seriously, because we can do the same thing, and Dimepiece did this in Cincinnati for the last 5 or 6 years. They don't come together in Cincinnati. It's a laid-back city. It's too cool. You guys seem to want something. You want the knowledge. You're here. And actually, you're listening. And I just want to take my hat off to y'all, and I want y'all to give each other an applause, because it takes a lot, and it's the thing we appreciate.
That reminds me, I do need to shout out everybody that came all the way from out of town. We've got people from Chicago, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, St. Louis. Anybody else? Okay.
South Dakota.
South Dakota?
Oh, I got one question. I got one question I want to ask.
We're going to open it up to questions.
I got one question, because everybody talks about how, you know, the game is changing, you know, album sales are down, but nobody has an answer for the future. I'm asking, do anybody know where it's going? It's, you know, everybody knows that it's changed and that certain things have stopped, but where is it going so the artists can point they aim at something?
Excuse me, could everyone please be respectful of the questions and the panelists?
Because I think a lot of artists are just working and don't know which direction to head in now, because they're heading in an old direction that has passed. You know, they're using the blueprint of other successes, and they don't know where it's really going. So if you know, if somebody could elaborate on that, that'll probably help a lot of people right now.
My perspective. I read a book once, and it said that the music industry hasn't changed, but the recording industry. Okay, and so in my perspective, where the industry is going, because album sales are falling because no one wants really that hard thing anymore. Okay, nobody wants to buy a whole album anymore. We're an on-demand society now. If we just want to hear one song, we want to rent that one song, we want to hear it just one time, then that's what we want. We're in the society of Netflix. We don't want to get up and go to the store and buy anything. We want to download or be armed right then. And so the author of this text suggests that music is going to become like water. It's going to become like a utility. Like you pay for cable, like you pay for heat or gas. It's going to be where you want it, you press a button and it's there. It's going to be in the air, okay? Music's going to become like water. And so when, as an artist or a producer or whoever on a label, you have to kind of see that it's not about the hard CD or the actual album anymore. It's about just producing this kind of intangible thing called music. And it's going to be where we're not actually selling per song anymore. It might get to a time we're not selling per disc anymore, but we're paying a monthly fee every month to download whatever we want. You can already see that with things like Real Rhapsody, which I am an avid fan of. I got it on my phone.